It finally happened. After over 20 years, I finally get PRS. Every time I go to a guitar store, I pick up a PRS, whatever's there. And they're almost always SEs, occasionally S2s. I had never played a core. And every time I picked up an SE, S2, I pick it up, I play it, I put it down, meh. Every single time, for over 20 years. But the other day, I went to a store to pick up this expression pedal, and they had core PRS. So I took a look at them. There were about 10 of them. All of them were pretty gaudy, like over the top, that super flame. Just, I didn't want to pick any of them up except for the one I did, which was the DGT. And I get it. DGT is the signature model for David Grittsom, noted, incredibly styled player, especially considering he mostly does sessions. To be that unique sounding as a player is weird within session. He notably played for John Cougar Mellencamp at the height of John Cougar Mellencamp's career in the early 90s. In the 80s, Grittsom ran into a young Paul Reed Smith, who has been a guitar builder for years at that point, started a company, and he wanted to sell his guitars. Not as a corporate idea, but as an idea. He's like, these guitars are great. I know they're great. Play my guitars. He was selling his guitars as a great thing, not as a product. Grittsom, as it turns out, is as specific and detailed about every little thing in a guitar as Paul Reed Smith. So they sort of formed a relationship, and Grittsom constantly had notes. From day one, had notes. Make the body thicker. And result of that, the PRS McCarty. And it took, from their initial relationship starting in the late 80s, it took till 2007 for them to finalize a signature model for Grittsom, the DGT. Over a year was spent on the pickup split just to get it to sound right. And having now experienced it, fucking time well spent. talk about why I like this guitar. It's $6,200 Canadian, so it's expensive. And it just happened to be very much alive. Loud as hell, unplugged. I was able to pinch harmonic easily, unplugged. And then I plugged it into an amplifier I would typically avoid, but it was the one that had a cable sticking out of it, which is JCM 800. Turn the gain way down, and that's what you hear in the clips in the video. And it just fucking rocked. I don't even understand it. It was like, because I picked up another one of the PRSs there. It was a 2408, around about the same price. I put it down almost instantly. It did nothing for me. That's nowhere near. It's nowhere near as good. This is a thing I've sort of come to realize with guitars, is you can get a guitar at various levels that you're going to enjoy. But the step-ups are interesting, because you can get a guitar that's $600-700 and just play the crap out of that for ages. Then you kind of have to, if you're going to the next level, you kind of have to float in and around, but just below 15 to 2,000. That's where you're kind of looking. Anything above that is sort of whatever, until you hit about $5,000. Because at $5,000, what happens is these companies that mass produce their instruments, then they have the time and the ability to search wood. There's a lot of talk about Tonewood, and I don't really care what you think, but I will say my opinion on this is mass-produced guitars do not give a shit about the wood until it costs around $5,000. Anything below that is just built, which is why so many people who end up with guitars that cost less than that flippantly say there's no such thing as Tonewood. Because yeah, at the price point you're buying a guitar's not made specifically choosing the wood. It's bought in bulk, at the cheap, at the ready, and sold. But once you get over $5,000, that's the price coming to you for them to care about wood in a real meaningful way. PRS as a whole, I'm still sort of meh, but I now know that a DGT is phenomenal. I would like to try the SE, but I highly doubt that the SE is going to be anywhere near as alive as a guitar like a core DGT. Actually, like, I considered it, and I definitely don't have the cash for it. Unfortunately, PRS's aesthetic it's never going to hit for me. I think the PRS shape, the silhouette, the curves are beautiful, but I also think the best looking one is probably just flat black. Who else said that? Robin Ford said that, right.